I'd ask that the witness be asked to wear this hat just to show the jury how he appeared to law enforcement when he answered the door. What's the relevance of that? The relevance is that he was lying from his very first interaction with law enforcement with this ridiculous hat, which anyone would have known was fake, but yet he sought to do it anyway because he thought that they were stupid. Objection. Counsel is testifying. Objection sustained. But you were wearing this hat, right? Yeah. They didn't fall for it, did they? No, they were smart. They were smart. They said, counsel, don't repeat what he says. Did you also tell them that your name was James Lee? They showed me a picture of me on a picture. I just told them, come on, let's go. But first you told them your name was just a James Lee, right? No, they saw the ID in my pocket. Why would I show them that ID if I don't got dreadlocks? When the officer... That's not my question. You told them that your name was James Lee, right? No. If the arresting officer comes in here and testifies in front of this jury that you said that your name was James Lee, objection, would he be lying? Improper impeachment. Overruled. Judge, he doesn't have to declare somebody else is lying. Overruled. If the arresting officer comes in front of this jury and says that you told him that your name was James Lee when you opened that door, is he lying? I don't know what he is. I mean, to me, I don't want to say that he lied because it didn't happen. Didn't happen. Okay. But in any event, they knew that you weren't James Lee, right? Yeah. They knew that you were Gregory Stewart wanted in New Orleans for murder, right? Yeah. And they brought you back here to New Orleans, right? Yeah. And you've been locked up ever since, right? Yeah. So, is it fair to say that from the very first time you encountered federal law enforcement in this case, you lied to them? That in that very first time you lied to them about who you are? Well, let me explain what you mean. Sure. I don't even respect no police. At the time, I ain't care about no police. I do what I want to do. So, what am I going to tell them? Yeah, if I know I'm a murderer? I'm not about to confess nothing to them. They got to do their job. Because you don't respect the police, right? Yeah. You don't respect law enforcement, right? No. And when you had Mr. Ollinger smuggling marijuana into the jail for you, you didn't respect him either, right? Man, I done that. I tried to go with my move to get that weed. I done that bad. I take my lick from doing that. I said I messed up, Ain't nothing else I could say. Well, we'll revisit that. Okay. So shortly after you returned to New Orleans, you were indicted, right? Yeah. And you were indicted for a drug charge, right? Yeah. Heroin, right? Yeah. And now you're in what people call the feds, right? Yeah. So, and then in general, people think that this is kind of a bigger deal than state court, right? I don't know. I never been in big jail like that. I ain't stay in jail like that, so I don't know the difference. And the other people who were on your charge at that time were people who had previously been charged, like Montreal Delaney, right? What you said? The people who were on the same charge as you, those were people like Montreal Delaney, right? At that time? Right? What? On the first indictment? Yeah, on the first indictment. When you were first indicted. Yeah, Montreal. Okay. And you pled not guilty, right? What? At the arraignment? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And at that time, where were you being held? In St. Charles. In St. Charles. Okay. You were shortly thereafter on July 28th, 2011. There was a second superseding indictment, right? Yeah. And at this point it added a whole drug conspiracy charge, right? Yeah. And it charged you with 1 kilogram or more of heroin, right? Yeah. And it added other defendants, right? Yeah. And it added Evans Lewis, right? Yeah. And it added Solomon Doyle, right? Yeah. And Jasmine Perry, right? Yeah. And Derek Wallace and Odine Dominic, right? Yeah. So now you're all facing this drug conspiracy charge, right? Yeah. And at this point, you're still not looking to plead guilty, right? What you mean? You're going to fight the charges, right? I ain't never go to court no more. Okay. In December, on December 1st, 2011, there was a third superseding indictment, right? Yeah. And then your girlfriend and the mother of your child, she was charged too, right? What you said? Your girlfriend was charged at that time too, right? Yeah. So she was added on that superseding indictment, right? Yeah. And your friend Parnell Watts, he was also added at that time, right? Yeah. And it was that indictment where they added the murder charge, right? Yeah. So finally, you're not just charged with drug conspiracy, you're charged with drug conspiracy and capital murder, right? Yeah. Me and Evans. You and Evans facing the death penalty, right? Yeah. Okay. So, and at that point, you're appointed a lawyer, right? Herb Larson, he becomes your lawyer, right? Yeah. And I become Evans's lawyer, right? Yeah. Okay. And that's back in December 15th, 2011, right? Yeah. But the charges keep on piling up, and there's another indictment on January 19th, 2012, right? Where even more charges are added, right? Yeah. And at that point, Mr. Oni is added to the indictment, right? Yeah. And at that time when all of these charges were first coming up, all of that wiretap evidence from the Montreal Delaney wiretap and from the wiretap on your various phones, that was provided to all of us through Discovery, right? You had all of that, right? No, I ain't never hear none of that. But you knew that was the basis of the government's case, these wiretap calls, right? But then, I didn't know about how we was set up. I didn't know they had all of that because I didn't read all of that. Okay. And at a certain point that year, you decided that you wanted to sit down with the government, right? What you said? You wanted to go to the round table, right? In 2012? I don't know what year or what date. Okay. If I told you that you attended a meeting with Mr. Landrew, Mr. Ollinger, and Mr. Wood on June 1st, 2012, would that sound about right to you? I don't know. I just told you, I don't know what date. Okay. Well, in any event, you agree that early on in the case, you sat down and talked to Mr. Landrew and Mr. Ollinger and Mr. Wood, right? Yeah. And your attorney, Sarah Johnson, was there, right? What you said? Your attorney, Sarah Johnson, was there? No. Herb was there? Yeah, Herb was there. Okay. And that's Herb Larson, right? Yeah. And you were aware that at that meeting with the federal law enforcement agents and the United States Attorney's Office and FBI agents that you were supposed to tell the truth, right? They didn't read me no rights. Okay. So you felt like you had a license to lie to them as much as you wanted to? No. Okay. But you didn't feel like you had to tell the truth, right? Is that what you're saying? I don't know what the meeting was about, so I don't know what the meeting was about, so I don't know if I told the truth or told a lie. Okay, you didn't know why they wanted to meet with you? No. I said, I don't know what meeting you talking about, so I don't know if you telling me I'm lying or not. I believe on direct examination you were asked about this meeting, so you're aware that you had this meeting during direct examination, weren't you? Judge, I would object. I think he responded he didn't remember it. Objection overruled. Well, On direct examination, you conceded that at that meeting, you did not tell the whole truth. Do you remember that? Yeah. I remember I went down there before and we talked about it. What year are you talking about? I don't know what year you're talking about. June 1st, 2012. Yeah, I know I went down there and told them I didn't do that murder. Yeah, okay. So you went there and you said, I know some others, and you told them that he had shot at some guy named Telly that day, right? Yeah. And you also told them that when Smothers and Keys arrived, that Evans and Jasmine Perry shot at the two of them, right? I told them Jasmine Perry shot Ken. Uh-huh. And I said Evans the one who shot Ken in the face to drop him, but he shot Smokey. Rail ain't shoot. He ain't shoot Smokey. And you said during that meeting, just like you testified today, that you had no idea that it was Keys. Didn't you say that at the time? What? Did you say... Rather, let me strike that question. So at that meeting, you said that you had no idea that Evans and Jasmine Perry were going to do that to Smokey and Keys. That's what you told them, right? I don't remember that. I got to see that. So you don't recall telling them that you had nothing to do with the murder of Gregory Keys? I just told you I got to see that. I don't remember telling them. I remember saying that I wasn't the shooter. Okay. So you didn't tell them they shot him for me. Did you tell them that at the time? No. But you're saying now that's the truth, right? That it was your beef and that you wanted him dead, right? We wasn't beefing. He was just playing sneaky games and I was trying to get him out the way. Okay. So you weren't even beefing, but your testimony on direct is that you wanted him dead and you wanted to have your friends kill him, right? I wanted Evans and Rail to kill him. Okay. So you wanted to murder him, right? Yeah. Okay. And you did not tell them that at the meeting, right? I just told you. I don't remember. I don't know. You don't know. Okay. At the same meeting, did they ask you questions about Merle? They've been asking me about Merle. And you said, I don't know nothing about Merle, right? Yeah. And they asked you about the murders of Magnolia Shorty and Jerome Hampton, right? Yeah. And you said, I don't know anything about that, right? Yeah. I said that because I'm not about to admit to that. They asked me about it, so that means that they don't know nothing about it. Okay. So when you say that, what you're saying is, of course, you wouldn't tell them the truth, right? I said, no, I ain't say I wouldn't tell them the truth. I said, why would I tell them something that they don't know about? Okay. So they asked you questions and you lied to them, right? Yeah, I lied to them. So, is it fair to say that now in your second interaction with federal law enforcement, you lied? Yeah, I lied because I wasn't trying to cooperate. Okay. And you were asking about seeing like a transcript of that meeting with the FBI. There are no recordings, or rather, was there a recording device that you could see in the room when you met with the agents in the United States Attorney's Office? What you said? Was there some kind of recording device? Was there like a tape recorder on the desk or someone's cell phone where they said, hey, we're recording all of this? No. If a government agent who attended that meeting testified before this jury that you denied any role in the Gregory Keys murder at that initial meeting, would they be lying? Objection, Judge. Improper impeachment. Overruled. What you said? If Mr. Ollinger or Mr. Wood testifies in this matter that they attended that meeting and they asked you about Gregory Keys' murder and you said you didn't have anything to do with it, would they be lying? I just told you, at that point, I just had came to jail. I wasn't trying to cooperate with no government. I wasn't trying to talk to them. I wasn't trying to do none of that. I just know that I didn't do that murder. And you're still saying that you didn't do that murder. I didn't. I set it up. Okay.